Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors trading on margin. Utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
June 8th, I don't see any red folders, so nothing real exciting is happening there. I do like trading Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, seem to give us our best signals, at least the most reliable signals. So not that other days don't work, but this seems to be where my best performance seems to be. So let's go to the charts and see if we can find anything. And Eva, are you there yet? I see she's there. Mike, she must be away for a little bit. She'll be back. Okay, so as we go along, and we will see what we have here. I like to look at the 15-minute charts and see if there's anything on the 15-minute. Here's a German 30. Now the German 30 and the European markets are open now, so that's I like looking at the German 30, and we actually start looking at the UK 100. We have some folks in the London area and in the UK, so we're going to pay attention to those. And right now, I'm not seeing anything on the German 30. We'll check and see what kind of range we have between the two zones. We'll just check that out, and right there, that is about a $94 or €94 range. That's not too bad of a range. That's on a 30-minute chart, so that's a pretty good range to be looking at. So with that, I would be looking at this pivot low, this pivot high. We'll draw that one for a reference for our, actually before I do that, I'm going to get my moving averages up here. Try and get all the tools up before I start drawing on this thing before we get started. And just double check, can everybody hear me okay?
Morning.
Oh, there
Sorry.
you are. Oh,
I'm here.
I saw your mic was off, so I said, well, I know you're not talking to me, but very good.
No, I'm here.
I just need to double check because I really hate spending half an hour talking to myself and not thinking.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
My apologies, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning, Eva. Let's see here. So right now I'm on a 30-minute German chart. I'm going to use this pivot high, this pivot low. This was from yesterday's range, and we are still within that range today so far. The overnight was in the range. So this is going to be where I'm going to draw my Fibonacci's. We have our moving averages. We see we're in an uptrend. So I'm going to draw it from this point here to here, and then we'll see if we can find anything that may fit into this range. So I'm going to draw my Fibonacci from low to high. Going to mark my upper 25, my lower 25. And so this is the upper 25 from this area right in here. I'll just take it over to the daybreak. That's the end of today's session. And we do it one more time at the bottom. And most of you guys, people that have been with us for a while, you can probably be doing this all at the same time on your own charts. So you can get those set up as we do this. Hopefully we have some new people in here that are learning for the first time. And if you are, just be patient. It will come together in time. It just takes a little bit of a while because this may be new to you. And but just give yourself the ability to learn and to sit back and just watch it, ask questions. And we're here to help you learn to fish. And so there's my 30-minute chart. I'm going to just pull this up to a 15-minute chart and see what the range looks like, see where these zones are. And you can see it's right now it's coming right up into this blue zone, which is where it left yesterday. Came all the way back down last night to the other blue zone. We have a little bit of a trend here. Here's a low. Here's a low. Here's a higher low. Here's a higher low. I'm going to draw a trend line using these 3 points. This one. There's the anchor. There's the hit. And here's the retest. You can see it had a little bit of a breach on this. So I'm just, rather than, this was a significant breach on this. It came down. I don't like seeing this trend line breaking through the bars. through the bodies of the candles. So what I'm going to do in this particular case, I have two choices. One, I could just draw another parallel line to catch this, so give this a channel because we know that, actually, wait, there's a little trend right there. Let's take it down this one here. Maybe that might help. Oh, there we go. There's the anchor. There's the hit. There's the hit. There's our trend line. That's our lower trend line from low to high. And you can see that the 200 moving averages are moving above that. And now we're going to look at the top part. Now here we have like a double top. Here's a top. Here's a high, a lower high, a lower high. Then we had to break right back up into this zone. So right now this area, this red zone is holding. And we have a little bit of a, this would be what we call a double top. We have a high. Here's a pullback. Here's another high, a little bit lower. Here's our trend. And you see that this trend had a nice pullback, came back, tested the trend line, came back, tested our moving averages, came up, broke through the trend, but here's our head fake. Because it came right up and it did not take out this high. So we actually have a little bit of a double top there and with a strong move down off of this area. So that's just telling me that there's a lot of selling pressure. Once it gets up to here, there's a lot of selling pressure. So I'm just going to maintain this trend line. It looks like it has a little bit of a head fake and a wick. And I'm just going to, at this point, I'm just going to draw a little parallel line because it really didn't break the, it didn't break the zone. The zone's still here. So I'm just going to draw a little parallel channel. And this gives me a little channel to where the price comes up into this channel, I'd be looking to sell it again. And if it comes back down to this area, we're looking to buy. These are our target zones on the way down. So right now we don't have any trades going on right now because this is coming up into the upper zone. We had a strong pullback out of this zone, so we're going to wait and see if we can get a reversal pattern up in here to take it short and start looking at taking this thing short. Let me go down to a 5-minute chart. And here's the strong move down to test. Now we have our little trend going. So this trend line here is probably still going to hold. So I'm going to be looking at this pivot. We're getting a little bit of a pressure. There's a little bit of rejection at this point. So I'm just going to draw a trend line. This is on the 5-minute chart. I'm going to draw it from here to here. Actually, I'm going to cross it right at where that trend line is, where the price is. So right where this price is, come up where the trend line is, this descending trend line. I'm just going to have to make an intersection point right there. So this little area right in here is where I'm looking at to see that it holds. This is the area that I'm looking at to see if it can, if that area can hold. If it does, we may be able to start looking for a little bit of a reversal. But this is a strong move down. Here's a pullback. I'm going to draw my Fibonacci's from this point to here on a different time frame. So I'm going to remove these blue lines, but I'm going to keep all the zones that I drew. Remove the zones, and now now I'm looking at a 1-minute chart. I'm going to go all the way down to 1 minute, and I'm looking to see where the strong. Now this was a strong pullback, and here's the retracement. Now this area is probably, I'm going to guess this is going to be right around the 70% retracement area. So I'm going to draw another fib from this. This is now my trending. This is what I call my trending Fibonacci, I guess you could say. Here's the strong move down. Here's the pullback. It pulled back up to the 61%, and it just formed a little zone. So right now, if it can retest this 78 line, and right where this arrow is, if it can retest and get rejected, that may be a good entry to take it short, because then we're going to be looking at more pullbacks to the downside, and we'll be looking for another target area. So I'm pushing this right up here. We'll put it right up here. I'm not sure how high this is going to go. So right now I'm just sort of speculating it's going to be somewhere up around in this upper area. And I'm going to draw my line from there to, here's my first target, which is going to be probably right around in that area. It's still pretty tight as far as pips go, but let's just draw it down to this green zone. We have a little red zone to the green zone. Let's just draw it into this area. And we're going to see how far back this thing will pull back and see, but we have to wait until this thing gets done and reverses. So if this little red zone holds, then I can be looking for the next push down. I'm just going to take it from red zone to green zone, to the bottom of the green zone. Just as this is just for, because I'm looking at this is a strong move down. We'll see if this zone holds. If this zone can hold and this moving average can hold, and we get a reversal pattern, we may be able to take this thing short.
You just have a new zone just popped up right in the middle.
Oh, right below this one here. Oh,
below
yeah.
The green one right in the middle. That big one just popped up.
Oh, okay.
Watching.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So that's, again, that's going to make it a little bit tougher to get through that. Let me just check something else out here. I'm looking for the German 30 on another chart here. I don't think I have it. Let me just a second here. Let me do something here.
Hey, my friends.
Hey,
how you guys doing?
Matt. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
We're going to we're working on the German 30 right at the moment.
I saw that. I just took a trade on German 30.
Did you take it to the upside or the downside?
Well, I mean, not just, but like at 6 o'clock, I took it to the upside.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be having pressure to the upside.
But you know, I'm just I'm not putting a lot of weight into it right now. I'm just, you know.
Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Get up on my trading view chart. Here's what I'm trying to do.
I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. I'm testing some things, so it's gonna be fun.
Just bear with me just a second here.
Oh, you know me. I always bear with you.
Well, I'm talking about I know you will. About the rank and file here. Okay, so let's see. We're just going to hold off on this a little bit. I think it still has some pressure to the upside, and I would be more apt to think it's going to test this. If it can come up and test where this arrow is now, as this trend line starts declining, and this one starts. This is actually this is a descending trend line. This one right here, although it's very hard to see on the 1 minute, it's very shallow. But as the price
higher time frames, are they all out?
These are all higher time frame trends. Now this one is not. This one I drew from the high, the overnight high. I drew it to where it crossed. Now actually, if I go to the 15-minute, I'm going to see where this thing's crossing. Now I'm actually taking this one, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to move this thing up as this price moves across. This is really the trend line I'm looking at, and so I'm just marking where I'm looking at for this thing to maybe bounce off of it, and that's just because of this being the trend line. So as this price moves across, I'm going to be moving, and so actually my target is going to be going down, 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 as we move across the chart here.
Okay,
so right now,
on why that area,
the area, because this was a trend line I drew that got broken with a head fake. And so this is the area. It never came out of the upper 25, the upper zone. It came up, broke the trend line, which we drew from way back over here. Here's the trend line. We drew it. Here's where it broke. And now I'm still maintaining that as being a valid trend line because it came back down. And we're seeing if it's going to retest this trend. This could have just been a head fake. And now I'm looking to see where this is going to come up into play. Somewhere.
So basically, that's kind of like a moving line until we see what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, this is a moving line. And I'm just looking to see where this pullback comes back up to retest it. Now, so we don't know where this thing's going to end up. This one's still floating right now. We're going to wait and see but I'm expecting this trend line to hold on the retrace, and that might give us a reversal because it's still coming back into this 25% zone.
Okay.
So, all right. So anyway, we're going to keep our eye on that. We're going to spend any more time on this right now. We can take a look at some other charts and see we have a couple other alerts coming in. Here's one. Let's see where this one is. Let's measure our zone. See where. Here's our 15-minute chart. We had a bounce. There's a little bit of retest arrow drop. Here's our second arrow. That's off of this little area right in here, and we're going to see how much room we have to the downside. And we have 15 pips, so that's not bad. It's getting better. Let's see here. I want to see at least a 50 pip range between one of these zones here to here. And I have 37 pips. That would be the range I'd be using. So we'll draw from this range to this range. It's a little bit shy of what I would like, but 37 pips is still okay. It's enough to get you 7 pips out of that. So I'm going to draw this one. Oops, I got to get my moving averages in here. And we do see that the arrow moving average is pointing down, so we're looking for here's a strong base, strong move down, a retrace. Here would be a target. So this is a tradable, this could be a tradable trade. Let me get my moving averages up and see where the direction of my other moving averages are. This is on the US CAD. We'll take a look at see how strong the CAD is to the dollar before we take anything. All of our moving averages are in the right direction. We're having a green 5 period coming back up, retesting the yellow. Here's our pullback. I do like this little move right here. We're going to draw our fibs from low to high. Here's our upper zone. I'm going to speed this up a little bit so we don't miss the trade if it sets up here. Here's the upper 25. Here's our three zones. Came out of the 25, coming back up for the retest. Take it down from here up to here. That'll be the bottom target. Mark my zones. It already came down through the 50%. So this is at a 50% retracement from this level down to here. We already had a 50, actually from this to here, back down, it's 50% retracement. Pulling back, here's our first strong move down. Looking for the retest of this area for a turnaround to maybe take this thing short down to this area. Let's check our heat map here if we can. And we have the CAD is weak. The dollar is still kind of weak. CAD stronger here. So US CAD, that means it's going to be strong to the downside. Dollar is weak to the CAD, stronger here. We can take this thing short based on that. And so we're going to come back looking for the pullback. 1, 2, let's see, here's our 83. Here's our first zone, second zone. Here's our third target. Let's get to a 1 minute chart and see what we have here. And let's see, here's the pullback. So here's the strong move down. Here's the pullback, pulled back to the 50% of this move. And now now we do have some of these little zones down here on the 1 minute. And the question will be there is there, how far away is it? And what's the strength? That's only 2 pips right there. So I'd like to see a little bit more of a pullback for the target. I want to see at least a pullback to where we can get, I'd like to see a pullback to, I want to be able to at least get, I'd like to see 15 pips from where it pulls back to where the target is. So that's only 8. So it's almost going to have to come back up into this blue zone on the retracement. But if it comes back up to this blue, purple line, and this red zone can hold, then I'd be willing to probably take it and see if this little area will hold first. But we had a nice pullback, came back up, retested our 25% zone, came back out, broke through the first target. Now it's retesting the top of it. So this was what was once resistance is now support, and once was support is now resistance. This was support, broke through that, retested it. Now we have a little bit of a let's see, not a lot of room, but with the moving averages, if we can get this 1 minute to this green to cross back over the yellow, US CAD, let me see what else that we got here, the US CAD.
Excuse me, Al. When
Yes.
you got a moment, would you bring CB over, please?
Oh, CB's here. Yes, absolutely. Our buddy CB. Remote 2. There he goes. Good morning, CB. Good morning, our friends. Where is he? Where'd he go? There he is.
There he is.
There's CB. Welcome to the club here. Missed you last couple of days.
Good morning. Yeah, I've been pulled away a little bit for the day job the last couple of weeks.
Oh, the A job.
These darn day jobs.
Those darn J jobs. Well, we're glad to see you come back. Glad to see you.
Thanks.
You have been missed.
Appreciate it.
So right now it's kind of range bound right now. I hesitate to. It's just not enough. Just not enough to take the trade. Let's move on. And if I could keep an eye on it, and just in case, so we don't miss something here. Come back to our German 30, see if there's anything developing with that. Let's see. Let me get this other fib out of the way here. That's getting to be kind of cluttered. And see, it came right up, back up, tested it, was rejected. So this trend line still has some power to it, some holding to it, power to it. Let's go to a 1 minute chart and see if we can find a trade on this one. Nice move down, retracement. This is probably going to be a little retracement down here. Here's a pullback. Pull back to the 76. So now we have a new trend line from here. Here's our little wick. So now we can draw that. And my target's going to be, now we got to get through this zone, but if we can get through this zone, I'm looking for, that's a $18 move on that one. We have enough room to the 200 moving average. I want to see the crossovers of the moving averages. And German 30, where was the German 30 here? And this looks like it's not quite ready yet. Let's still hold off on this a little bit more. Let's see if we can get this crossover, this 5 and 13. If we can get the 5 and 13 to cross. And everything moving in the right. Right now we still have a little bit of upward pressure, upward support. It's above the blue line. It's above the purple line. And now it's starting to come back up and retest this. So we'll see if we get a little bit of, we have a little bit of a wedge developing right here at this very end of this. Let's see where the euro is for the strength of the euro. And the euro is about lower third, lower third. Euro is kind of weak for the most part. So if the euro is weak, then that means that the German 30 is more likely going to be going to the upside. So I would give this a more consideration to the upside, but you're already up in the upper zone. How high is high? Because it's already making new highs. So I don't know if I'd want to be, you don't want to be, when it's making new highs, you want to buy pullbacks, but this pullback just isn't quite enough. This one was a nice little pullback. This one was right back up into the zone again. So right now I'm looking for more of a confirmation of a stronger push down to the downside for a turnaround and maybe retest this bottom area. So no trade on that one. That's our S&P doing pretty much the same picture on the S&P. And here's the Euro-US CAD. We're still looking at this one. Any others popping up on us?
No, but nothing I can see. But I did want to make a comment. In addition to what you just said about when it's making new highs and not jumping into it and taking the pullbacks. I did exactly that thing yesterday with gold, and I know better. As per usual, I picked the top.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of losing trades that I have to make up for today. So there's proof and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, no, wait for the pullback, and I thought, it's been going up forever. I jumped in, bang, it pulled back.
Yeah, you keep thinking when it makes a new high and it has a strong pullback and comes back up, you keep thinking it's going to go higher, but it just, it just gets you sucked in.
Yeah. So just even us that know better, we still do things like that. So.
Hey, Al.
Yes.
Take a look at GBP CAD. it's, just because we're looking, it's not a trade yet, but it's set up kind of interestingly right now. Might be looks like a little bit of a bank induction move, maybe.
Okay, let's take a look at that.
Pound's got to
GBP
strengthen for us a bit, but
GBP CAD. Here we go. 30-minute. We're going to go to let's go to a 15-minute chart. See where we're at here. Yep, there's a strong move down now, or right into the green zone. If we can get an up arrow, we have moving averages still coming down. Let's check, put the other moving averages on here. I like this zone here. Let me just see if this measures out. That's 70 pips. This is a nice little move down. This is all of yesterday's range. We're inside of yesterday's range. It had a high from high yesterday. Overnight high was the lower high. So we have a little trend line coming in from the top. So here's our from yesterday's high. Here's our trend. And if we look, probably if we can scrunch this up to the chart scrunching maneuver, we have a high, a lower high, a lower high. We can take this trend line and see if this thing will respect. There's the anchor. Here's the hit. Here's the third hit. Heading on down. Came back from strong pullback. Retested it. Here's our first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. Heading into the fifth wave, we have another trend line coming down below here. And we're going to, let's see, how far is this one? That's 76. Yeah, that's the one we're looking at. So we're going to draw the fibs from, as this thing makes higher lows and lower highs with our trend. I'm going to take this one from here. This one looks like the one I would like to use. As this range bound, right now it's range bound between here and here, lower high, higher low, have a little bit of a bounce. So I'm going to draw my Fibonacci in this area. And now from this one to here, we said it was 75 pips. So that's a nice range to draw our fib lines. That gives us plenty of room to our target zones and in between our target zones. I'm going to take my upper 25 and lower 25. So here's the top. Here's our daily range that we're mapping out right here. Here's our range down at the bottom. So from this point to this one to the 25, we're in that zone. If we can get this, and this is where the strong move down, see if we can pull it back, get out of the zone, come back and retest, and then we start looking at this area, and this area. We'll mark those. So here's our first target zone right in here. Here's our second target. Oh, if I get my tool set. There's that one, and one more. So now we've established our higher time frame zones. We've established our targets. We established where our stop would be. If this trend line breaks, if it breaks to the downside, if this blue zone breaks to the downside, then we have to redraw and start looking at another zone down lower. But right now, this area is holding. Came up, tested it, held. Came up, tested it, held. Came up, tested it, held. So right now, this zone has held all the way back through since last week. So now the question is this going to hold? We have a lot of green barriers down here. So I'm still favoring this to the upside, but we need to get off the 15-minute chart and see if it looks, what it looks like on a higher time frame or lower time frame. And looking for the pattern. And right now you can see it's just going sideways in a rather tight range. It's still following this moving average. We did get a little break. We have a lot of consolidation going on right here. So far, this little green zone has held. We have this is the trend coming down. The blue held. Now it got broken, came back down. Now look at the green line. The green line came up, couldn't cross over, it came back down, but now the green line crossed over again. Now we're waiting for it to cross over the second time. British CAD, let me see where the British CAD is on something else here. British. And I would say we're still waiting for this thing to, right now it still has some downward pressure, but we're looking for this thing to maybe turn around, pull back. And the first target would be on this 5-minute chart. First target is going to be right in here. We bring it down to a 1-minute chart. If we can get the crossover, let's see where the strength, British CAD, let's see where that strength is. CAD strong, CAD strong, CAD strong, British is weak. We're looking strength to the downside. So we don't want to be taking this thing long. So we're looking at this thing maybe breaking through the bottom of that thing. I'd be more apt to take that. But as long as it's in this zone, as long as this zone is held for the last couple of days, so we're going to see what happens with this. But I'll be looking for this as long as it's in this blue zone. And I don't want to take it short with only 10 pips to the downside on this on a 1-minute chart. That's just not enough room. If it breaks out, then we get to redraw and find out where the next zone is. And if you look at a higher time frame to see if it does break this blue area, except we got all this green right there. Back to a 30-minute chart. If it goes into this green zone, it's going to have to break through this level right in here. So I'm going to mark, actually we need to tweak this a little bit here. Here's my 100. If it breaks this, we could get another, remember we had this little head fake up top. No, that was the other one, never mind, disregard that. If it breaks this point right here, we may have enough room to the downside. Now that'd be 20 some pips. I could get my 15 pips out of that. Again, I'd be looking for a pullback on this one. I see it. If it can break, it's got to pull back to the trend line and then maybe take a trade short if it breaks through this green zone. But this green zone has been tested several times. But if it does break the trend line, comes back down, retest the trend line, retest the moving averages, then we could maybe take this for a target down in this area. The CAD is strong, so we want to favor the strength to the downside right now.
In the chat, apparently the German 30 is lining up for a sell.
Is it? Okay. That would not surprise me. German 30. Yeah, I think it still may have a little bit of range to go still till it gets before it does that. Here's my arrow. You can see it did break. Did break this trend line. Came up, gave another wick. But we said we still have this area right here to the trend. I still think it's got strength to the upside. Let's see where the euro is. The euro is still weak. Euro's still weak. The euro's still weak. Euro's still weak. I would not be trying to short the German 30 with the euro being as weak as it is right now. So I'd pass on a short. I may look for a long, but the long is up in the zone. Where's it going to stop? Where's it going to turn around? You know, you're already in extended range. So I would need a lot more pullback before I would take it long. And I'd like to see the euro get stronger before I would take it short. So I'm staying away from that one. Although it is enticing, but it just doesn't fit the bill. And let's see what else we have here. How about Euro Aussie?
I've got a question though.
Okay.
Sorry. What does it mean? Like looking at you just opened a chart over top. Can you just, you see your candles there that have got the red core and the green outside. The question is, what does it mean when the candles look like that? And I know what it means, but I wonder if one of you guys has a better explanation than what.
You're talking about like this right here?
Hang on. Yeah.
Like we have a red bar, yeah, with a, yeah. Basically what that is with the program, with the arrow program, what it's saying is that the candle color, like you see, these are all green, these are all pretty much red. I'm just expanding them out a little bit. If you expand them out, you'll see where the inside of the wick is. So basically, the body of the candle is saying really what the arrow is saying, the arrow software is giving us, saying that the body is below that moving average. I think is that arrow moving average. If it closes below the moving average, it's red. This is this blue moving average. The body would be no, this one's green though. Why is that green?
It's like it's a bullish candle, but the whole trend of the candles that it's in the middle of is bearish.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. You can see like all these wicks. Let's just call it the wicks. The center bar. These are all green as long as they're closing above the moving average. When it closes below this arrow moving average, all the inside of those bars are all red, but the candle itself is red because if we're just looking at a regular candlestick chart, it would be a red candle. And so this one's saying that this is actually a bullish candle, but since it's below the arrow moving average, the core of it is red, and that won't turn green until it gets above, like it did over here. This candle right here is a good example. The candle itself is a bearish candle, but it's above the moving average, and that's why the candlestick itself closed.
Yeah.
So that's basically the core is saying what the moving average is telling you. The body of the candle is telling you what the candle itself is doing when you expand it out. If you scrunch it up a little bit, you don't see those. Then you just see all red candles or all green candles. If you widen your chart out, you'll just see. It'll let you see what the actual candles formation would be from a candlestick perspective. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see where we at here. Euro Aussie. We're looking at the Euro Aussie. It's right now. It's in a range. See what our range. I like seeing this. I like seeing the range from the zone to the zone without any of this stuff in between, and see what this range is, because this is the range that's been cleaned out, and that's 100 on the Euro Aussie. Is that only 15 pips? I think so.
Yeah, 11, kind of.
Looks a lot bigger. Looks like it should be a lot bigger than that, but that's all I'm seeing here. Let's go from this one to here. That's 18. Okay, went from 58, 50 to 56, 62. That's more than it. So it'd be 64, 74, 84. I do my math in my head here. 56 to 58. This 30, 130. It'd be 185 pips. That certainly would be enough room. I just don't trade this one that often. Let's see here. Something just seems a little bit out of whack to me on this one. Let's draw the fib lines and see what we got here. From here, zone to zone, and see how much we have in between. That looks like 16 pips. Yeah, that'd be right, 16 pips. That's enough room for the range. Here's our lower 25. Here's our money zone from yesterday's money zone. And it is trending up a little bit higher. Strong move down. Here's our lower 25. Shapes. There's that zone. This is our range. Upper 25, we get the lower 25, we have the range in between. These are about 18 pips in between these target zones. Left the zone, came back, pulled up, tested the 50%. I'd have to wait a little bit on this one. This one's too close to the 18 pips. Let's get to a lower time frame. And we'll get the lower time frame and redraw the fibs. Let's say we're looking for a strong move. Now we look in the Euro Aussie, see where they stand for the Aussie strong, Euro's weaker. Aussie's strong to the top, Aussie strong. So we want to trade this to the strength of the Aussie. So we're looking for a strength to the downside. So we're looking for a pullback. Here's our trend line. So it's trending to the downside. So we're looking for a retest of this and then a pullback. And then if it higher, this would be our target. We're looking for a pullback. That's only 5 pips, 9, 17. So it would have to pull back up into this zone or retest this one at the very least. You see, I don't like this one at all. It's just too close to the zone. And it's in a downtrend. I have to see this thing turn around a little bit more. We have a lot of resistance right here. This would be our target zone. This would be the extreme. If it can break through all this to the target zone, you'd have plenty of room to this pullback. But I don't know. I don't feel good about the fact we got 3 of these zones before we got to our target. I just don't think it's quite ready yet. And it may be starting to pull, hit the target, see a little bounce, break the trend line, come back down, retest this little trend line down here. Here's our little wedge. Here's our wedge. But it is trending. I just don't like all these zones down here. This would be our strong move down. Here's our pullback, pulled back to the 50%. Is above the 23, came back to 50%. Let's see where my green zones are. I like it except for these zones. I just don't like having to get through 3 levels of zones before I get to the bottom here. It's too easy for it to come down, fake out, and bounce off and just never get your target. Just doesn't fit the criteria. Let's see what our German 30 is doing here.
It's just pulling back a little bit.
Yeah, I pulled out of my long trade. I made a little bit. So
On the German, Matt?
yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see, let's go to another one. Let's see, US yen. Let's see what the US yen's doing. A lot of, I'll tell you, the markets have been really range bound. I think you're going to see a lot of that this summertime, just a lot of range, narrow ranges. Minute, template. This thing's been pretty much range bound all the way to here to here. That's 44. Enough room for the range, but you got too many zones building up in between. Let's go to a 1 minute. Check the 5, see where these zones are. It's probably going to find some problem getting through this area. This little wick right here to this wick right in here. It's probably going to have a little bit of trouble getting through this. I would see a possible break, because here's our, where's the wick? Oh yeah, you're just gonna see the wick. I just gonna see the wick there. It's right in that area right here. It's bounced right off of that moving average. Let me just make this a little different color, maybe be able to see a little bit better. Let's make it yellow, see if that helps. It's got to get through that. If it can break through that, then it has this whole, here's a nice strong move up, here's the retest. So this area has been retested. If this area, the retest area, get break, then I feel good about coming down to this area if we have the room. And that's 10 pips. We'd have 15 pips to where if it breaks through this one, we have a little trend line over here. If it can break, come back, retest, then we can take a shot at that. Your US yen, see where that is. The yen is strong. In the strong, US is still weak, so we could take that one short. And let me see what else we might have here. US yen. Still, it's not real clear yet. I don't like all these little zones. And you don't have to be in a hurry to take trades. I mean, you're better off waiting for the right trade rather than trying to make a trade that really isn't quite, it's maybe close, but not quite right. It will mess up your performance. Let's see, US yen, we did that one. How about anything up here? 15-minute US yen, we got that already. Bitcoin, German 30, 1 minute chart. Let's take a look at German 30 again. Keep an eye on that one. It's coming out of the upper zone. It came out. This trend line is still, I'm going to just get rid of this trend line because this one's been breached several times. This one is, let's just take this thing to a higher time frame and see what it looks like. Move that out of the way. Here's our trend right here. And we could probably, so we have a decent range on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my range on this. Move that one up to that 25. Move this one up to there. The reason why I'm doing that is because we have lower highs, higher lows, and we still have enough room for a trade. It's been really volatile. This is a big move in a matter of probably an hour, hour and a half, maybe. That's a big move. That's probably about when the markets were starting to open up, or middle of the market day. Yeah, I don't know which way to go with this one. It still has pressure to the upside, but it's not ready to. I prefer to see it reverse down, but it still has too much pressure to the upside, and it's too high in the zone to take it.
Yeah, he still needs that reversal.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that reversal. I think it's going to go down, but it's not done going up yet, I guess. I just don't know how far up is.
Hey guys, I'm gonna step out on a limb.
Okay.
But I'm going long on Dow Jones, and I have like a 25 or 30 pip stop loss.
Dow Jones, I need to get that on this chart. I thought I had it on. I guess I didn't put it on.
Yeah, just don't if you guys are considering trading it, just understand it's gonna take like $200 of your available margin, so it's very margin intensive on a 0.01 even.
What time frame are you trading that?
One minute.
Okay.
Symbols. Let me get the Dow Jones up here.
Yeah,
just 30.
Just stepping out on a limb, like you guys can. That's just the trade I'm taking. So it's not financial advice. You know the rules, right?
US 30. That's US 30, right now, Matt?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get this. Let me get the template up. And I'll draw it out and see what you're looking at. Load. Arrow. Open.
It's not going to be a super long trade, I don't think. It's just going to be.
And so we got the moving averages up here.
German 30 is generally going to be your precursor move. It's going to show you kind of where your US indices could go. So as it went up, I just saw a little opportunity to maybe take a bit on this.
There's the upper shapes rectangle. Here's our target zone right in here. We're gonna make this, put that back to being blue again. That's why I don't like changing my colors, because I have to change them back again to be consistent.
Oh yeah, eh?
There we go. And then we have the blue. Oh shoot, I think I made these, I had to go custom on this one. We'll work with that and see if that works for us. Shape.
Well, it's coming back a little bit. It might be the breathing that it's going to do.
Strong move up, retracement. This is a nice pullback. I would almost be looking to see this thing come up and retest this little level right in here. So I'm going to draw a preliminary trend line projection That's going to come right about in that area. I'm just going to take it to the middle of that. I'm looking at this around the bottom of the zone. And may go a little, I'm just going to, I'll just go to the end of the day break right here. I'm just eyeballing this right now. So this is, and seeing where this thing comes up the upside. Here we go to the, here's the zone, strong move up. There's a little bit of resistance there. And we got this zone right now. I don't like that factor. So the US yen may be dropping down too before, but let me just take a look at this one real quick. It's breaking through the zone. Okay, so with that, we can go, keep an eye on your Dow 30 there, Matt, while I'm trying to see if we can catch this one.
Yeah, I sure am. You do.
It did break the zone coming back up. I would like to see a little bit of a pullback, or at least a retest. If it retests this trend line right here, it's pulling back to the 23%, which is one of the areas I like to see pull back to. So that would fit into the equation. Here's my 23. So as depending on how far down this goes, this is my pullback area. I get a little leery about the yen pairs.
Yeah, you and me both.
But this would be the target. This would be a target zone. This would be the target zone down below here. We'll have to wait and see how far it pulls back. This would be the zone we'd be looking at for a target. I still want to see a little bit of a pullback. All our moving averages are in the right direction. Crossed over the 200. We have a nice little drop here, and we're looking for a little the pullback to retest this trend line up here at the top. Here's where I left the zone. Here's where it tested the zone, was pulled back again. There's our wedge. It broke through the wedge. Now we're looking to see how far it's going to go from. So from this point down to here, we have enough room. We've got 15 pips. And just try and grab 5 of it, 5 or 7 of it. See how this candle closes. This zone now has been taken away. You can take this, delete that. Now it's a question, can we get into this thing? I don't want to just jump in. It's kind of left the area. I want to see that pull back first. If you try buying it here or selling it here, you're really trying to catch a falling knife, but you just don't know if it's going to just turn it right around. And this is a strong move. This may actually be a place where you might get a turnaround. If it just goes straight down into this zone, we may be looking for that bounce to retest and then come back up to retest up here. Here's the bottom of that wick. And you see where the zone is right now. This, take it right down to here. I use this little range for the retracement to try and enter into this purple area. And you want to make sure that where your target is, you have room to your target to be able to get your profits out of it. And so right now, we don't know where this thing's going to stop. As I move this price down, I'm going to change my zone here to align it with the 23. There's a pivot low. And we'll wait and see where this thing ends up. Then we'll draw this trend line with, there's the wick right here. We'll draw the trend line off of that wick. That looks like that is a little bit of a rejection point. It's only 5 pips move. Coming up into our zone, we look and make sure that the yen is still strong. Yen is still strong on all 4 time frames to the euro. Have a nice little split right here, so we can take it short on the pullback. And at this point, I'm going to do a sell stop. It came up into our zone. I'm going to take a sell stop right here at the 109.30 area. And if it comes back down to get me in, then I'll be looking for it to take my target down to 15 pip target. I'm not in the trade yet. I'm just setting it up. Modify, take profit. We're looking at the take profit being, we'll go 109.25. And stop of I'll say 109.45. And I'll adjust it. So we get in 29, actually 22 should be my target. 109.22, I'll make that. And we'll see what happens. Nice strong move down. It's going to pull back and only pull back to the 25%. Actually, pull back just right to this level right in here, which is right between the 25 and the 38. Now, if it comes back, if it gets me into the trade, which it looks like it's about to do, we'll see if it retests this wick and goes lower. If it does, if it bounces off of that and starts going up higher and starts breaking through this, then I'll be out of this trade. But I'm just going to see if this little bounce off this falling knife can just come in and get me right into, drive it right down into this next little push down. It's not quite ready to go long yet. Any questions so far?
No, there's nothing in the Q&A.
I'm in the trade. And I basically gave myself a 16 pip stop. I've got a 7 pip target. You see the spread was a little bit, you can see over here where I'm up $5, but I'm still barely breaking even. That's my spread. This one has a fairly, let's see, 29 to, the spread doesn't look that bad. Now, if it can break this little wick here, it's a 1 minute wick. A lot of times these 1 minute wicks will look big, but a lot of times these wicks will be taken out again. Now, if this were a 5 minute wick, I'd be more hesitant. You can see it's retesting this little trend line right here. It's retesting this little drop. The buyers started coming in this area. There's probably more buyers down at a lower level. It would have nice to have had a little pullback off to this trend line, but it never really did do that. Now, if it comes back up and retests the trend line and goes, I mean, my stop is above this trend line. If it breaks this trend line, and if it comes back up and breaks this trend line back into here, I may get out of this trade. But until that happens, I'll still stick with the trade, and I can probably actually move my stop down a little bit lower to the moving averages, like the blue moving average. I can probably move it down just a little bit here. Came up into the it broke the 23. It came up to 38. Couldn't hold 38. So this little zone right in here would be my area that I think will be respected. And I want my stop a little bit above that area. So tighten up the stop as you go along and see if it can come in till before it hits get my target before it starts challenging. So a little push and we'll be out of this thing. There's an arrow. That's a help. So right now, of this move, this 25% zone is still being respected. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. This little zone is still being respected. It really hasn't come back outside of this 25. If it starts coming out of this 25 and it comes back in, then I'll probably start thinking about getting out of the trade. And that's the 25 of this big down move from up here. Right now, this trend line seems to be holding. We have our target set. We have our stop set. I'm going to have this stop be a little bit, well, I'll keep my stop where it is. And I'll keep looking for something else here. But before I forget, I want to put this, oh, that's the other one. Never mind. Make this one smaller. How's your US 30 there doing there, Matt?
I'm sorry?
How's your US 30 doing?
Getting some pullback. So I still believe it's going long, but we got a little bit of pullback. So
since I didn't have the, just so if anybody wants to know how to do this, if I didn't have the US 30 on my chart, so I'm going to put it on my chart. So basically what I'm going to do is I right click on my little dashboard, pull up my expert advisor properties. And here in the list where I have all my indexes, I'm going to go to the, let's see where I'm trying to get past the, I want to stick it right in here past the UK 100. So right here's the UK 100. There's a little comma there. And right after that comma, I'm going to type in US 30 with capital letters with a comma. And that should put it on the dashboard. Here's my US 30. And if I come over here now, I can click on the chart and I should be able to pull it up.
to be specific, I'm in about $10 worth of drawdown on US 30, which is nothing. So
okay. I'm still looking.
My stop is at 30 pips away from where my entry was.
And back to the US yen. I'm going to see how this candle closes. Keep an eye on that. Spin it out a little bit. You see, it came back. It hit this trend line. Well, actually, this is where the trend line was. Pulled back, came back, retested the trend line, pulled back, made a little bit lower high. So right now, and plus we have a down arrow. And with the down arrow and to this zone here, which is where my target is, everything's still looking good for a break of this trend line. Hopefully, it's basing a strong move down, 3 candle basing, and see if it comes back down and gets me out of my trade. And let's see anything else over here. And there's a 15-minute Aussie yen. So the yen is still weak. Let's see where it is with the Aussie yen. Pretty much the same scenario. This may actually be a little bit. Let's check this one out. Yen, Aussie. Yen is strong. Aussie's weak. Yen is strong, weak, strong, weak. This one actually may be a lagger from what the other one was doing with the US yen. So we may want to pay. We may be able to catch a earlier move on this one. We have a bounce arrow. We're on a 1-minute chart. Let's go on to a 5-minute. See if we have an arrow go on this one. That's a big strong move down there. This is basically following the same pattern what the yen was doing. And it just started going against me here.
All right, that's Dow Jones is going up now. So we'll see what how that plays out.
Okay, let's see. 30 Dow Jones.
Oh, or not. It's being temperamental. I thought it was. We'll see what happens.
Right now, my trade's still okay. We had a nice drop down. See if it comes back and retest into our zone. It's still the same retracement we're looking at. So we got in a little bit of profit. Now it's starting to retrace. It's coming to see if it comes back up into the zone. All of our moving averages are still in the right direction on this, so I'm still not too overly concerned. It's just breathing is all it's doing. We'll see what we did get a cross on the 1 minute and the 13, so that's not a good sign. Right now, I think this is just a little bit of a pullback.
Well, we might not have that breakout that I think we're going to get for Dow Jones until the market opens. So,
or just after 9 o'clock, possibly, just 30 minutes before the pre-market.
Yeah, it might be a pre-market move, but
usually
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, between 9 and 9:30, oftentimes you'll see some nice pre-market moves on these the Nasdaq, the S&P, Dow Jones. That's all pre-market activity before the market opens up and starts taking this getting this position. That's we're taking a little bit of heat on this one, but right now this zone is still valid. What I don't like is that we had the crossover here. But right now it's retesting the trend line. Let's see how much it goes. If it gets a strong push up and pulls back and closes. Right now you had the little wick right here at the trend line. We're watching this very closely. Let's see, what candle is this? Is this this candle? Okay, on the next 5-minute candle is going to open right about where this vertical line is right now. So this is still a 1 minute. The 1 minute did not close above yet. It's testing it. The open of this candle here on the, I'm gonna call it at 50. The opening of this candle, when I get the candle come across here, I'm looking for what a 1 minute candle looks like on a 5-minute chart. Right now we have 1 more minute before this 1 minute candle is going to be the same close as where the 5-minute candle closes. You can see our time right now. We're at 49 minutes. We'll see how this candle closes. If this candle closes, we'll know that this 1 minute candle with this 5-minute candle closed above the trend line. And we'll wait for it to pull back. If it retests and come down, I'll get out of this trade. This thing could keep going higher. Could have come up and retest this, which is where my stop is. And from a price action standpoint, this is the origin of this down move. Came back up. It's retesting this. This was a little basing area where this strong move down originated. You can see this little green candle in here. This is our retest zone right in here. That's our retest. If it breaks through this, I'm out of here. With this strong move up, I'd be looking for a pullback.
Would you consider that to be a W move there, Al?
This one right here.
Well, the last leg of it is going up right now.
This one be this be the shoulder, this be the middle of the W, and then pull back.
No, I'm thinking that's
this one, the middle of the W. Could very well be.
Yeah.
This could very well be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the reversal pattern of this and see if this is a strong move. It came up, it's retesting this area right in here. I don't have confirmation yet that it's really going to go long right now because we established this moving average. This is a strong pullback with a retest of, this was a drop, base, drop. Now it's retesting the base, which is this purple area.
Thanks, Kevin, for pointing that out.
Yeah, this could very well be that W. Here's the first leg, here's the second leg, the W. And this could be and you did have a little bit of it broke this one. Came back up, retested. This little wick right here did not break this pivot. So this could be your wave 1, wave 2. This could be a wave 3. So this one could take me out here. The safest bet would be have this stop on the other side of this trend line and above this. I don't have a real barrier here.
See, I always have a dilemma with putting the stop so far out because sometimes it just keeps on going and then it hits and then I lose more than I really wanted to.
Yeah, and that is something we as traders have to deal with, is that where you put that stop. I usually like keeping some barriers in between, but I don't want to make it too high. If I have too big of a stop, then I probably didn't get in the trade right.
Yeah, that's where your plan comes in, right?
Yep, that's where the plan comes in. So right now, here's a strong move up. Now I'm waiting for a pullback. I'm going to redraw my fib as a possible reversal. Here's where it left our zone. Going to have it come back and see how far it will retrace. If it retraces back to this area, that'd be a good time to exit the trade. Right now, these are pointing in the up direction. I'm looking for a pullback. If it pulls back into this area, if it pulls back into, here's my 20, where's my zone here? Here's my 38% pullback, right where this moving average. If it pulls back to this and this area holds, then I'll just exit this trade and save myself. I don't want to take a full stop out if I can avoid it. In fact, it did retest this, although we don't have a close above this little wick right here. We didn't, off this body, we do not have a close above. Right now we're pulling back. We're just going to see how far it pulls back. If it can only pull back and start getting a bounce off this 38 line, then I'll probably just exit this trade. Right now I'm looking at, I'd rather take a smaller stop. And if I'm wrong, then it's going to retest again, and then I can always get back in short again. But I don't want to take a full stop if I can avoid it. Right now, this area is the area that I'm looking at. Our moving averages are still in the right direction. If this thing comes down and the green pulls back, doesn't get out, we have a secondary trend line here. I'll take it from this one. That trend held. It did take some heat on this. If we look at how many pips we've actually on with this, these points. It's only, right now we're only down 7 pips right now. And that's basically with the spread. Right click, check the profit factor as points as opposed to currency. So right now I'm looking at how many pips I'm down. Right now I've only pulled back 8 pips, which is well within my risk tolerance. We can see what kind of move we're going to have in order to get our profit taken, get our profit out of there. So right now I have a trend line that's holding. I have a moving average that's holding. We have another trend line, but my stop is right here at the moving average. So I did move the stop down from where my entry was. So from my entry, to where my stop is, I have 12. That's 12 pip stop. If I have a 15 pip stop, it'd still put me up on this area. But right now, if this area breaks and comes back up, it's probably going to. This is a nice little pullback. How's our heat map looking? How is the yen doing? Dollar is getting stronger over there. The yen's still strong. Dollar is picking up some strength. And I'm going to bail on this. No sense taken. I don't like what it's doing here. Close order. This looks like it's trying to reverse. And if it comes back down and starts breaking through, then I can always re-enter again if I still believe that's going to go short. But right now, I'm not liking the strength of this move out of here.
Yeah, gold just took a major tumble. Thanks, Rona, for pointing that out. I just had a look at it. The 5-minute candle is like 73 pips long. We got a 2-minute warning here, Al.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Any other
All right.
last minute questions before comments? Matt, do you have anything to say?
Nope.
CB, how about you?
Who?
I'm
He's
CB?
still there? There he is.
I'm looking at gold now. It's could be an interesting opportunity to go long in gold in a little bit. But
Yeah. It looks that way, doesn't it?
It's getting there. It's not quite
go to the 5-minute, Al.
a 5-minute. 5 minutes. Oh yeah, strong move down. Found some buyers coming in here. Let's check our moving averages. Let's see.
They're all kind of pointing down right now.
Mine's working a little slow this morning. Everything's kind of pointing down. We have the crossover pointing down. But this is such a strong. I mean, we're talking on a 5-minute chart. This thing moved in a matter of. Let's see, where's the low here? In a matter of 20 minutes, it dropped $13 in 20 minutes. Here's my range over here. So I like starting here with the lowest pivot before the high with no bars in between. This is actually the range I like here. Where's my zero line? I'll take it down to this one here.
It's now 9 o'clock.
So, okay, all right. Well, let's see. I guess I'm going to hope and assume that Jackie's going to do the 9 to 12 session today. So with that, everybody, we didn't get anything profitable today, but that happens sometimes. We'll keep our eyes on what's going on, keep our eyes on some of the trades we're looking at, and see if you can use the technique to get profitable and make some money for the day. With that, thanks everybody for coming in. We appreciate your questions and comments. I think there's a session of 9 to 12 with Jackie. If she's there on Tuesday, she's just usually there. So check that out, and we'll see you tomorrow, 7:30 to 9. See you then. But thanks, CB. Thanks, Matt's already gone. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks again.
Okay, everyone. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow.
So what's the 9 to 12 session with Jackie? Jackie is, she does pretty much what I do from 9 o'clock to 12. Check the Auvoria Prime.
Arrow bag chat.
The arrow bag chat. Is the arrow bag chat, is it? Or the arrow bag?
The Arrow official telegram.
Yeah, there you go. And that gives you the registration link to get into her room. So we'll see you then. All right, bye.
All right, talk to you guys later.